Hi, in a second I will set the
Okay.
translation. Meanwhile, I will now, yes. Okay, I brought you to the forward and then setting translation. Şimdi çeviriyi ekliyorum arkadaşlar. Seçebilirsiniz.
Hi. Perfect. Thank you so much for the introduction and welcome everyone. We know it's in the, around five-ish, in the evening time. We are so glad that you got a chance to come and visit us. We're really excited to have this class. Of course, it's our baby. We're pretty excited. Algorithm of You is growing every single day. So Discover Your Algorithm is such a fun class that gets you really excited about the introduction into theta healing, of course. Um, I know you want to talk more about it than I do, but
No, I don't want to talk more than you.
but it's so much fun. And of course, we're going to go through like a couple of exercises to help you learn a little bit more about it. But it does talk more and help you understand about your emotions and how you problem solve and really how to master your virtues, which we're trying to do every single day.
So we were teaching for a long time, and we always get a question
Yes.
from different people in different industries explaining theta healing, right?
Yes.
And over the years, I've gotten very good at learning how to speak in all kinds of different career fields, what it is that we do. Raena jumped in, she started learning how to do the same thing. And then what happened is all of a sudden our industry became a very popular industry. Wellness and mindfulness really sort of took off in a very specific kind of sense. And there's a mainstream understanding of different things. So we sat down and said we should find a way to let people know how mainstream theta healing really is. We discovered something more than that. I mean, we just used information. We explained to people what was going on. We would say, your body's made up of energy, and that energy is always working, and that energy is always manifesting, and it's always creating stuff. Things that you've heard us talk about in other webinars or in classes.
Yeah.
And we wanted to explain sort of how much the body and energy of you connects and uses all this information. So there's a word called algorithm, and it's kind of an interesting word. It's got its own triggers and it's been used all over the place.
And as you know, of course, it's all over the internet. And it's something that everybody uses in order to say, hey, we're gathering all your information so that we can show you exactly what you're looking at. So when you go on to any platform, it goes, hey, we know what you've been looking at. Those shoes. Yeah, here they are. Would you like to buy them still? You
That
go, oh no, they can see that I want to buy those shoes. How do they know?
so people think that an algorithm is the thing that pays attention to you, and it's not. The algorithm is how they take the data and tell it to send you stuff. So they
Yes.
take the data of your information and they program in a specific set of commands about how to use that data. So we're sitting there learning and teaching some different classes, and we're talking about how the body works. And we start to explain to people that the body creates its own, each person creates their own set of algorithms with information, with all their beliefs, with everything that's going on. You're constantly programming your system, right? So we start explaining theta healing to people, telling them that there's an algorithm of each person, and people were like, "Wow, that makes sense. I like that. It may, and I understand it, and I would follow it. Um, why is that so different?" And of course, we would say, "Well, it's not really different. It's just the beginning of what we do in theta healing. It's just us telling you what we really do." And letting you have a reflective lens to start to see it in your life. So from there, we started to kind of see and understand how it works and the pressures that you feel and the things that you're programming in your daily life. And as Raina mentioned, emotions are a huge part of it. We found out that every day the human body experiences at least 450 unique emotional signatures.
which some of us don't even recognize. I mean, I didn't when I was growing up. I didn't even have the chance to really recognize the emotions that I had because in my family, we weren't allowed to have emotions. So recognizing that we had 450 different or even the same emotions that came up in a day's period, I had no idea. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a lot of emotions. You can have way more than that in a day's period. But sometimes we don't even recognize it because we suppress it.
So we get a signal, right? We get a signal about what our cells are feeling and the image that we're moving through our life. And we talk a lot about creating your own reality. And we talk a lot about what we see in our experience. What does theta healing or really anything that promotes mindfulness help you do is understand the lens that you view your experience with and make changes to how it's connecting to the world around you. That's what they do. That's, to us, theta healing is the best one to do it, of course. So we started talking to mom about this, and mom says, "Oh, you should go trademark that." We're like, "We're going to trademark the word algorithm of you." She was like, "Yeah, you should do it." So we go and file the trademarks, and the lawyer is like, "I don't know if you'll get that. It's a very common phrase. It's very common word usage. I don't know that that's something that will happen for you guys." And sure enough, it did. We actually ended up getting a trademark for the concepts of algorithm review and teaching it. So this class, Discovery Algorithm, is the only one that covers both trademarks. So you're certifying and licensing in theta healing and in algorithm review. But from there, mom was like, "Okay, show us your class." So we walk over and we start talking about this class. And they're like, "Here's what's going on. Your body is programming, and you get these little signals of pressure. And these signals are your emotions." And we talk about all the energy that you're creating with. We talk about how fast you're creating, the amount of information. If you come to class, you'll hear all that fun stuff. We're trying to condense.
And actually, we can give you just a little bit. Of course, we do exercises because this was her favorite part. And we'll give you a little bit of a snippet so that you can see. So how about we do this? If you, and we're going to open up the chat so that you can, of course, type this in. If you had an emoji that you could put in right now that described how you felt or the emotion that you're going through right now, what would it be? Put it in the chat. That way we know what you're feeling, that we can see it what comes up. Love that. Who doesn't love hearts? I love hearts. I'm totally attached. Some of us don't know. That's okay. If you don't know exactly what emoji you would choose and you're kind of confused which one, that's all right. You're like, well, this one, I like this one. I really like that one.
Thankful. I like it.
These are all great.
Thank you.
These are amazing. Now, if you take a deep breath in and you close your eyes and you imagine that you're on a beach, whether you've been to a beach before or you've seen a beach, I want you to imagine that you're there and now think of the emoji that you would have. Is it different? That describes that feeling. Is that emotion that you have different than the one that you just described right now?
So inside of our experience of what is going on, all of these things kind of create it. And the signal that you feel is the pressure of what your body is telling you that it's creating from the moment. So you get a signal, and that signal lets your cells know the majority of what you're interpreting this moment to be and what you're creating to help create the next moments for. So you take that signal, it comes in, and you create the pictures or the entire understanding of what you see and what you're going through on your journey and what your cells are putting out around you. And in life, we're actually taught to ignore these signals. Okay, for a very long time, the idea or the concept was emotions are bad. So we're talking about this particular class as we're starting it. We're talking to a basketball friend of ours who's a coach, and he says to one of his athletes while I was standing there, he said, "Emotion has no place in athletics." And I said, "You're wrong." And he said, "What are you talking about? There's no room for emotions inside of athletics." And I can show it to you. And I said, and I can show you that that's an infactual statement of the human experience. So he starts pointing out all the times in his life that he's suppressed an emotion and things that he's done. And I said, "That's great. Where are you sitting?" And he said, "I'm in the gym." and I'm a high school basketball coach. And I said, so you made it to the pro level then? And he got mad. He's a good basketball player. But I said, let me tell you what stopped you from getting to the pro level. And I can point out to you real quick. So I started listing all these amazing athletes. And I started to say, now tell me, what emotion does that one have? What emotion does that one have? And what emotion does that one have? And as he starts to look at it, he starts to see they show a specific emotion. They show immense determination. They show anger. They show joy. They just own it.
And whatever it is, yeah, they recognize that they are that emotion, whether it is anger, whether it's joy, whether it's sadness, they own it. They don't suppress it and say, oh, because the world thinks that anger is a bad thing, that I have to suppress it. No, they recognize it's okay. I own it.
So then I take him further. I'm like, all right, let's analyze every successful or famous person you've ever known. And we start having a discussion. And there's an emotional characteristic, a uniqueness that defines them. They're them. And I said, they didn't shy away from emotion. They figured out which ones work for them in the best way possible and how to maximize the energy that they use in authenticity. And I said, that's what is important. So telling an athlete that there's no room for emotion in basketball is the same as telling a scared child, don't be scared, stop being scared. Okay, saying stop being scared doesn't make them not scared. It makes them not tell you they're scared. It makes them hide, it makes them start to suppress different things, but it doesn't just stop the fear. What you did is confuse their communication system. And their communication system goes, well, I'm not supposed to be scared to get your approval, but I am still scared. So what should I do? And the answer is turn it off. So we start moving on autopilot. Subconscious starts to take over more inside of our life, more inside of different things that are around us. So what we put together and what we've been working on and the things that we've grown and why it's growing so fast is we have come up and been able to show individuals, and you'll learn about it in Discover Your Algorithm, what energies that they're the best to work with, what energies they've been taught to work with, what they do and how it helps them see the world or the things around them to solve situations, because you're always solving something.
Always. I mean, there are lots of problems that, well, we can call them problems, but really they're just puzzles, things that we just solve every single day. Like, what did you decide to wear when you came on screen right now? That's something that we're solving. There are so many different things that we do. And of course, we'll go more into that into class. But can you do this? I have to answer Beckham really quick.
Yeah. So within all those different things that are going on inside of ourselves, we know there's a pathway to it. You feel this pressure, and then it slides, and you create like a picture, right? You have a picture of us. You see us sitting in front of you right now saying things. That's not just right now. That's a collection of all your experience. That's a collection of everything you've done and everything you've known and everything that's gone on, how many times you've interacted with us before, and you then put together an expectation. And any good intuitive instructor, any good theta healing instructor is going to walk in and pick up on all those expectations at the beginning of class. In fact, I think that's probably the biggest block to having big classes, is because if you walk in and pick up on 100 different versions of what they think should happen in the moment, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, we hope that you'll be able to be yourself and recognize your importance and what you bring to the moment and be able to just kind of push it to the side and go, it's okay. I know me. I'm great. I got this.
So what's happening is within that lens, your system of energetic and physical and spiritual self is putting together the way things are supposed to go. Based off of everything you know, this is what's supposed to happen. And so we've got into these patterns as a species and as energetic beings that we are, of sort of reacting instead of creating. We're the greatest creative forces on our planet. We have energy of creation, we move, we communicate. They're discovering more every day. The amazing infrastructure of the human body is as in-depth as their understanding of the universe. They know they've just barely started to discover a whole bunch of stuff. And yet, as we move through our day-to-day existence, we don't turn any of that on. We react in a way, in a moment of situations, to try to move and just get through the pressure. So we start reacting from one moment to the moment, not to create, but to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get through one pressure, just to get through another pressure. And so what we've done with algorithm review is we created algorithm review is the mirror. Okay, theta healing tells you how to fix things. Algorithm review and discovery algorithm is the mirror and the depth of why and who you are.
It's just the beginnings of helping you recognize where it all begins so that you can change the things that you don't like with theta healing. That's the best part.
So you can flip the switch and be like, I want to have more joy. And the question that we would ask if you sat with us for a session and said, I want to have more joy in my life, first question is going to be why?
Yeah, is it something that you want, or is it something that your family has said, you should have more joy? You should be more joyful. Don't you know? The world is joyful.
Yeah, if you just figure out how to have joy in the world, then it's going to solve everything. Well, your definition of joy might be very solving at good things, but another person's definition of joy might not have the same connection. Because even though we describe them, they're not exactly the same chemical reaction.
No.
The description just lets us connect and communicate around us. But that reaction plus the information of your experience, that's all you. It's not duplicatable. And so we were having another conversation. This conversation had to do with the increase of some of the competition in the wellness industry, particularly AI and how it was being used. And everybody was really nervous because you could generate all this stuff. And we said, don't worry about it. And they're like, what do you mean, don't worry about it? People are using it all the time. And I said, for now, but it lies. And they're like, no, it doesn't lie. We said, yes, it does. It's programmed for user interaction. It is there to tell you what it thinks you want to hear in the moment, not be a mirror. And that means that people are going to figure it out. And so many people in our industry right now, as it gets increased with people who know and have been from other businesses, because there's lots of people coming in that have been in marketing and have been in finance and know how to make money. And they're just jumping on the train to try to make money. It won't work. People crave real connection and truth to themselves, right? It's the reason why not every weight loss fad works for everybody. Everybody's different. And people only stick with it for as long as it feels right to them. Okay, you don't quit after 20 days because you weren't disciplined. If you quit after 20 days because it wasn't for you, you knew somehow it wasn't for you, it didn't feel right for you, and you didn't want to do it anymore. And yet you probably tell yourself something, or a friend that tells themselves something. You've been around people who say, oh, you just need to stick it out, tough your way through it.
Or they say, hey, come on, I'm doing it. Do it with me. We can do this together. We'll help each other.
Now, there's a time and a place to stay on path, but you stay on the path when you know it's your path, right?
Yes.
So when you see something through and you know that it's you, then you stay on it. That's when you, quote, tough it out. You don't move to it, because right as you're about to be successful, you're going to feel a lot of pressure to see if it's really
something you want. Yeah.
So we find and we start teaching this class about discovering your algorithm as an introduction to theta healing, because it turned out as a great way to explain what theta healing really does. It teaches you to access all these different things in your body that are going on, that are part of you creating your individual algorithms. So as we started to explain all that and we draw those lines and comparisons, we start to open up. So in the classes coming up, you're going to learn sort of the emotions that you're most comfortable with in different situations.
The way that you problem solve.
And then you're going to have some understanding of what virtues you want to work on and how they integrate into problem solving and emotions. So that class is kind of tailored specifically to that. It is the introduction part of theta healing the practitioner. So you don't need any other certification to come to the practitioner class. You could bring Joe down the street if they want to learn about who they are. We have taught algorithm, discover your algorithm, all kinds of stuff in banks,
Yeah.
athletic facilities.
To people that have never even been in this industry before, it's very, very easy to understand. It's mainstream. It allows people to really just that way it can be something that can, that's why we say it's introduction, because anybody can learn it. Something that really helps them go into and eases them into understanding what theta healing is, because not everybody can understand what metaphysics are. They go, what, angels? Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle angels right now. Or the seven planes of existence. What is that? So they go, oh, I don't know if I can do that either. So then understand, but everybody has motions and everybody has problem solving. And they go, okay, I can handle that. What if I want to change it? And they go, oh yeah, well, we have theta healing.
Which,
We can do that.
yeah, at the end of this class, because you'll understand so much about your own patterns, you're going to get to do some belief work if you are a
Yeah.
theta healer. At the end of it, though, class will end and there'll be an extra hour for you guys to clear some different stuff that comes up from the information that's kind of shared. So that's a quick overview of sort of what's going on. It's about discovering everything that you are and the motivations and pressures that you've moved to, deciding which ones you want to, how you're creating the lens of your experience.
Quick, easy, to the point.
Well, I mean, we could talk about it for days and
We really
days and
could.
days, but you know, it's an online webinar, and you guys have wonderful lives and things going on, and we can give you guys some downloads, though.
Yes, we can. Go ahead, you do it first.
We download what it feels like to know and feel connected to yourself in every moment, and know how to communicate that connection without feeling like overwhelmed or frustrated.
And that you can recognize the emotions that you do work with, that you see the pressures that you have every single day, and that you can walk through life recognizing your true uniqueness and how beautiful you are with that connection to Creator. If you like those, say yes, but thumb up, whatever, we'll send it your way. And a little bit of unconditional love so that you can have that and use it however you like. Ah, yes, perfect. And I'm assuming, Gaia, you want to say some more?
Thank you very much. It was amazing as always. It's wonderful to be with you. Çok teşekkürler. Her zamanki gibi muhteşemdi. Just a quick information about the class before we close. Is that okay?
Yes.
Arkadaşlar 10 Temmuz tarihinde algoritmanı keşfet. ThetaHealing'in resmi bir sertifikasyonu, uygulayıcılık sınıfı algoritmanı keşfet olacak. Ve aslında bu oturum ondan birazcık bahsetmek için de tam günlük, bir günlük bir sınıf bu ve eğitmenliği de veriliyor ve çok fazla bilinmeyen bir sınıf. Ama muhteşem bir sınıf. Farklı duygular, problem çözme yöntemlerine bahsedeceklerini zaten söylediler. İlerleyen günlerde paylaşımlarım devam ediyor olacak. Ana ücreti $200. Kartla ödeyebiliyorsunuz ve organizasyon ücreti ödüyorsunuz 4000 TL. Detaylar için bana ulaşabilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda 28 Temmuz'da senin algoritman yani Algorithm of You kendi modalitelerinin Love and Relationship sınıfı olacak. Eğitmenlik olacak bu ve ön koşulu algoritmanı keşfet. Herkese açık. Yani daha önce TED sınıfı almamış olabilirsiniz. Bizimle buluşmak isterseniz gelebilirsiniz. I just quickly share the dates and the pricing, etc. and the classes. So yeah, so that they know. Okay, bana ulaşmak isterseniz gayalkan@gmail ya da gayalkanakademi@gmail.com'dan ulaşabilirsiniz. Thank you Josh and Raena. Teşekkürler arkadaşlar. Kendinize çok iyi bakın. Bu video YouTube kanalında olacak. It will be on YouTube. Bye bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.